Stick around to the end and we'll have some show and tell. Some pictures. Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise series. Please give me a thumbs up to like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. There's nothing special about me. I have no special effects, no drop-ins, nothing like that. It's just me reading books, talking Star Trek. So, today we are talking about the Anita Blake series. You good? You good? There you go. I don't know what my other co-host is today. But anyways, alright, so we're going to talk Narcissus in Chains. Book 10 in the Anita Blake series. Well, let's first just really quickly, please go check out my other video for some spoilers. Alright, so Guilty Pleasures. Book 1. Anita Blake is a vampire executioner and she works for the regional preternatural investigation team, the Spook Squad. This is a character-driven series, and this is one author that I will always buy. I don't care what it's about. It's an Anita Blake book. I want it. That's it. Character-driven. I like Anita Blake. Next book comes out, pre-buy. She raises the dead for a living, but she working for Bird One, but this will change later in the series. She also assists the regional preternatural investigation team, the Spook Squad, and her co-workers are Sergeant Rudolph, Starr, and Zerbrowski. We just call them Dolph and Zerbrowski. If you see my other video, I show pictures of these guys at the end. The early characters are Dolph, Zerbrowski, Irving, Griswold, Willie, Bert, Vaughn, Ronnie Sims, etc. I also show you pictures of Ronnie Sims in the other video. Okay, the second book is The Laughing Corpse. And this starts out as, and I read this part in my other video, so I won't do it again, even though it's one of my favorites. Jean-Claude is starting to use Anita. He had marked her in the first book. And he's telling his minions that if they don't behave, he's going to send Anita Blake after them. The third book is Circus of the Damned, and we meet Richard. Very, very important character. The Lunatic Cafe. We get new characters of Marcus, Rena, Gregory, and Jason. Anita doesn't like Marcus, and Marcus is doing things that Anita doesn't like, and she wants Richard to handle it, but he's like, nah, nah, nah. Okay. Bloody Bones is an out-of-town book. We get to see more of Jason, John Claude, and Larry Kirkland. The Killing Dance. Dominic Dumar is losing his skin. They also form the Triumvirate. Richard, Jean Claude, and Anita form the Triumvirate. And finally, Richard takes care of that thing that Anita wanted him to take care of books ago. And he changes on top of her, and she panics, and she runs to John Claude, and they finally, after all these books, they finally... Book 7, Burnt Offerings. Richard is out of town. He's avoiding Anita and John Claude. And he's taking some courses, and we will discuss that in Blue Moon. But we get some very important new continuing characters of Asher. And if you think Richard has angst or emotional issues, you got to check out Asher. And Nathaniel. Yay, Nathaniel. Then Blue Moon, out-of-town book. We take Nathaniel and Asher and a few others and Richard to go handle Richard, because Richard's been arrested for rape, and actually he didn't do it, because if he did do it, he would have changed form and his secret would have been out, and blah, blah, blah. So Anita goes to rescue him, and she's got to talk to him about stuff, and they finally... Okay. So, If you're an Edward fan, read Obsidian. If you're not an Edward fan, I don't know. Okay. Narcissus in Chains. Micah Callahan. Anita was out of town in Bloody Bones, and she went out of town in Obsidian, and now she's back in town and she's stalling. Marianne, her counselor and witch friend, has been telling her she needs to fill her metaphysical holes. Unknown to Anita at this time, because she is stalling, she is creating issues for Richard and Jean-Claude. And Nathaniel and Gregory, after she goes out with Ronnie, and then they went out to dinner, she comes home and she gets this phone call that Nathaniel, Gregory, and some swan mains have been taken, kidnapped and are being tortured by the Cronus of the Blackwater clan. So she needs help to save her friends. So she finally makes that phone call. I know you are there, ma petite. Did you call merely to hear the sound of my voice? That was closer to the truth than comfortable. No. I still couldn't gather my thoughts. I was like an athlete who had let her training go. I just couldn't lift the same amount of weight, and there was weight to wadding through Jean-Claude. While I still couldn't say anything, he spoke again. Ma petite, what do I owe this honor? Why have you denied to call me? His voice was bland, but there was a hint of something in it. Reproach, perhaps. I guess I had it coming. I rallied the troops and tried to sound like an intelligent human being. Not always one of my best things. It's been 6 months. Well, duh! I'm aware of that, ma petite. He was being condescending. I hated that. It made me a little angry. The anger helped clear my head a little. If you'll stop interrupting, I'll tell you why I called. My heart is all a flutter of anticipation. I wanted to hang up. He was being an asshole, and part of me thought I might deserve the treatment, which made me even angrier. I'm always angriest when I think I'm in the wrong. I've been a coward for months, and I was still a coward. I was afraid to be close to him, afraid of what I'd do. Damn it, Anita, get a hold of yourself. Sarcasm is my department, I said. And what is my department? I'm about to ask you for a favor, I said. Really? He said it as if he might not grant it. Please, Jean-Claude, I'm asking for help. I don't do that often. So they have a conversation. They got to have more conversations and negotiations. So then they all meet at Narcissus and Chains Club. And Jason is outside waiting for her. And she hasn't seen him in a while. And she walks up to him and she goes, you look like a pornographic spaceman. If you were wearing street clothes, you might have gotten a hug, I said. His smile flashed even wider. I guess I'm dressed for punishment. Jean-Claude told me to wait for you and take you in. My hand's already got a stamp on it, so we can just go straight inside. A little cold for the clothes, isn't it? Why do you think I was standing knee-deep in the crowd? He offered me his arm. May I escort you, my lady? So then they go inside, and Anita sees Jean-Claude for the first time in months. And Jason's like, Anita, breathe! Anita, breathe! So they merge their marks, they fill their holes, they have a whole discussion, they have a whole bunch of metaphysical sex. Narcissus loves it, the crowd loves it. Then they go and talk to Narcissus for a while. And they go and make the rescue. Before they go and do the rescue, when they go into Narcissus's apartments to do more negotiating, I've been complaining to John Claude for years that his decorating scheme was too monochromatic, but one look at Narcissus's bedroom and I knew I owed John Claude an apology. The room was done in black, and I mean black. The walls, the hardwood floor, the drapes against one wall, the bed were all in black. The only color in the room was the silver chain. So, they do more negotiating, and Asher and Richard, oh, the issues, the two of them, Asher and Richard have more issues than the world, okay? So they go to the rescue, and there's consequences. And Anita gets hurt, and John Claude and Richard work to save her. And she wakes up, and apparently she's not only is she naked, but she's naked in bed with other men who she does not know. I scrambled out between them. My left arm protested the use, but it didn't hurt enough to outweigh my embarrassment. It wasn't a graceful exit, but at least I was standing at the foot of the bed, staring down at the two men, instead of being sandwiched between them. Screw graceful. I wanted some clothes. Don't be afraid, Anita. We don't mean you harm, the second man said. I was trying to keep an eye on them and still search the dimly lit room for clothes. I didn't see any. The only cloth in the room seemed to be the sheet, and they were laying on it. I had a horrible urge to cover myself, but my two hands weren't going to get the job done, and standing there with hands cupped over my groin didn't seem somehow more embarrassing than just standing there. I suddenly didn't know what to do with my hands. My left arm ached in a line from my shoulder nearly to my wrist, a trace of pink flat scars down my flesh. Who are you? My breath came out. I'm Micah Callahan. Go, Micah! Go, Micah! Yes! And if you watch some of Laurel's videos, on one video she says if she had any regrets. And it's a later scene with Micah. It wasn't edited properly. And a lot of people don't, because it wasn't edited properly, and she's tried to get the editors to fix, and they won't fix. They're like, it's a done deal. But it makes it seem like Micah took Anita against her will, and the line or two was like Anita was agreeing before it happened. She said yes, but it didn't make it in the book, and Laurel's always been a little upset by that. But so that's a little spoiler. So we have a new bad guy. We have Jacob. And Richard is become a wuss. He's gone back to the old Richard. He gained some backbone in the other book, and now he's lost it. And he's tried to run the Pride group with democracy, and it isn't working. And he needs to stand up and be a leader. And Anita's not going to have it. So she learns about Jacob, and she learns what Jacob has done to Gregory. And what Gregory did to her was not intentional. It was an accident. He was trying to save her. And Anita finds out that they've done something to Gregory. And so Jacob is responsible for what is being done. So she says, fine, you want to do this? We can do this. If you cause Gregory's death through voting or werewolf politics, I will bury you. If you can, he said. You're a brand new shapeshifter. You won't even change form until the full moon, and that's weeks away. You are no match for me. You say that like I'm going to offer to fight you one-on-one. I'm not. If Gregory dies, you die. Simple as that. If you shoot me, it won't reinstate you in the pact. If you could possibly win one-on-one against me, then maybe they'd vote you back to Lupa. But if you just shoot me, you'll never be Lupa again. I'm going to say this nice and slow, Jacob, so we understand each other. I don't give a shit about being Lupa. I care about my friends and the people I've promised to protect. Gregory is one of those people. If he dies, you die. I'm not going to kill him, Anita. I just made sure there was a vote about it. Do you like John Wayne movies, Jacob? He was quiet for a heartbeat. I guess. I mean, what does that have to do with anything? Your fault. My fault. No. Your fault, my fault, nobody's fault. If Gregory dies, you die. Am I supposed to get this movie reference? He asked. He sounded angry. I guess not. But the point is, I will blame you personally if anything happens to Gregory for any reason. If he comes to harm, so will you. If he bleeds, so do you. If he dies. Jacob's like, I get the idea. So Anita and Richard have a fight again on how to fix this and what he's done wrong and how she doesn't like it. And Anita has gained the ardor. From the marks they did in the beginning, she has gained the ardor, and that will be a leading plot for ever. Jason, they go to rescue Jean-Claude, and she walks in, and Claude's like, Anita. She goes, rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated, or death, or something like that. And Zerbrowski calls Jean-Claude Count Dracula. Those are some cute moments. Rafeal comes. You met Rafeal in Guilty Pleasures, and he will be a continuing character. He will also get his own book, as will Jason, as will Micah. And we will get to those later. And we will learn about Belmort. She will also continue for several books. Anita gets closer with Nathaniel, and she bites him, and Nathaniel's just in massive heaven. And that will also continue, especially into Incubus, and we'll get to Incubus. So Anita takes on Jacob. Oh, and we still have some more Asher issues, and more Asher issues, and more Asher issues. We get some backstory on Stefan and Gregory. We get to meet Donovan, the Swan King, Damien, Bobby Lee, Claudia, Chimera. We get some more backstory on Micah. So Narcissus in Chains, I call it a bridge book, because the first 8-9 books, they were Anita solving mysteries or working with the detectives. Narcissus in Chains starts the sexual escapades. Miss Anita Blake in book 1 is not the same Anita Blake book, Anita in this book. This Anita is much, much different. And she will fight it. She will fight it tooth and nail, and we will talk about it forever, and it will take many chapters to talk about it forever. I'm serious. But the further along the series gets on, the talk gets less, and the adult stuff gets more, a lot more. So anyways, a little showing and telling over here. I showed a couple of these. I just wanted to Jean-Claude, Edward, and Richard. This was a new one, I didn't. But definitely check out Narcissus in Chains. And please give my video a thumbs up. Like and subscribe. It's just me talking books. I have no special effects, no special talent at all. It's just me talking books. And I really, really appreciate you giving me the thumbs up. We will do Cerulean Sins coming up. We will do Incubus. And we'll go into the rest of them. Harlequin and I can never say Damas. and we'll get into Belmore more too, and the Harlequins and the Homeland Yards. But we definitely got to get through Cerulean, which I call Jason's book, and Incubus. Oh my God, the stuff that happens in Incubus. Be prepared. And please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.